Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling a topic that's pretty profound, actually. We're going to be looking at how the Quran views humanity.
I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of you listening out there, you might not be super familiar with the Quran, so just consider this like a crash course. You know, a crash course in its take on what it means to be human.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very complex topic with, a lot of depth, but we're here to kind of break it down and make it accessible to everyone.
Awesome. I'm excited. Now, to help us navigate this, we're going to be using a commentary called tafsir.pdf. And this is going to be kind of like our guidebook to understanding the layers of meaning within the Quran.
Yeah, it's essential, really, for unlocking the richness of the text. Now,
Okay.
where do we begin? Ah, yes, the very beginning. The Quran describes the creation of man from clay, a detail that really sets the stage for understanding our place in the world.
Okay, clay. So I've heard that before. But what's the significance of that material specifically?
Well, it's more than just, dirt. The Quran emphasizes that God fashioned man from clay, like suggesting this real intentionality and craftsmanship.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't just a random act. We were sculpted, like with care.
So it's emphasizing like that there's a divine plan behind our creation.
Exactly, exactly. And to further highlight, this really special connection, the Quran describes God breathing his spirit into man.
Okay.
And so this breath infuses us with like this unique spiritual essence, setting us apart from all other creations.
I'm seeing a theme here. This
Yeah.
close relationship between like humanity and the divine.
Absolutely. This connection is central to understanding the Quran's perspective, and it leads directly to a pivotal concept, the idea of Khalifa.
Khalifa, what does that mean?
Think of it like as steward or vicegerent. It signifies humanity's role on Earth. We're not just inhabitants. We're entrusted with this responsibility of caring for the planet and all its creatures.
We're like caretakers,
Yeah.
appointed by a higher authority.
Yes,
That's a pretty big responsibility.
it is. And the Quran emphasizes that this role comes with accountability. So our actions have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. We're answerable for how we treat the planet, each other and all living things.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty heavy concept, but it makes sense. Like it's about understanding the impact we have on the world.
Precisely. The Quran wants us to recognize, our power and our agency. Which brings us to another crucial aspect of the Quran's view of man, the gift of free will.
Okay, free will. That's something I've always found fascinating. Does the Quran have a specific take on that?
Oh, absolutely. The Quran emphasizes that humans have been granted the freedom to choose between good and evil,
Hmm.
right and wrong. It's a defining characteristic of our existence, and it comes with both opportunities and challenges.
A double-edged sword.
Yes,
We have the power to make choices, but with that power comes, responsibility.
exactly. And the Quran doesn't just stop at, just saying, hey, you have free will. It goes further.
Mhm.
It urges us to use our intellect,
Okay.
to reflect, to contemplate, and to seek knowledge.
So it's about making informed choices, not just acting on impulse.
Precisely. The Quran encourages us to think critically,
Yeah.
weigh our options, choose wisely. It's about using our free will in a way that benefits ourselves and others.
Okay, that makes sense. But, let's be honest. Sometimes, like, making the right choice isn't easy. Like, we all have those internal struggles, those moments where we know what we should do, but maybe we don't always, follow through. Did the Quran address that at all?
Oh, it absolutely does. In fact, it acknowledges that inner struggle,
Mm-hmm.
between our good and evil inclinations. It describes this battle within us as like a constant, this push and pull, a tension that, we all experience.
Wait, so I'm not the only one that feels this way. It's not just me battling my inner demons.
Not at all. This inner struggle is a universal human experience. And the Quran uses really vivid language to describe it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, for example, it speaks of man, being prone to greed and driven by impulses, highlighting those tendencies that can lead us astray.
It's comforting to know that this internal battle isn't, you to me. But if the Quran recognizes this struggle,
Mm.
does it offer any guidance on how to navigate it?
It does. And this is where things get, even more interesting. It reminds us that our actions have consequences, both in this life and the next. This brings us to the concept of the Day of Judgment,
Okay,
a fundamental aspect of Islamic belief.
Day of Judgment. I got to admit that phrase always kind of brings up those those images of fire and brimstone. Is that an accurate portrayal of how the Quran presents it?
Well, not exactly. While the Quran does describe, a day of reckoning where our deeds are weighed, it's not meant to like instill fear or dread.
Hmm.
Think of it more as a reminder like of our ultimate accountability.
So it's less about like punishment and more about just taking responsibility for our actions.
Precisely. The Quran highlights that our choices, they matter, not just in this life, but in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
It emphasizes that we will be held accountable for how we lived,
Yeah.
how we treated others and the choices that we made.
Okay. Yeah, that puts a whole new spin on things. It makes that idea of accountability less intimidating and more about like understanding the weight of our decisions.
Exactly. It's like a powerful motivator to
Brilliant.
strive for righteousness and live a life of purpose and virtue.
So we've talked about creation, free will, the inner struggle, accountability. But what about like, the big question, the meaning of life? What's the Quran say about like our purpose here on earth?
Well, the Quran is very clear on this point. Our ultimate purpose is to worship God and lead a righteous life.
Well, when I hear that word worship, I always think of, rituals and ceremonies. Is that what the Quran is referring to?
Well, while rituals are definitely a part of it, the Quran's understanding of worship is so much broader.
Okay.
It encompasses like every aspect of our lives,
Uh,
It's about striving to live in a way that reflects God's attributes: compassion, justice, kindness, mercy.
So it's not just about like what we do in a place of worship, but it's how we conduct ourselves in our daily lives.
Exactly. It's about embodying those values in our interactions with everyone and everything around us, Acts of kindness, charity, speaking truth, standing up for justice. All of these are considered acts of worship in the Quran.
That's a beautiful concept. Like it elevates those everyday actions, like, to a higher level of meaning.
It does. It connects our actions to this greater purpose, reminding us that even, seemingly small acts, they can have profound significance when they're done with the right intention.
What's interesting is I'm starting to see how the Quran's perspective on humanity is so multifaceted.
Mm.
Like it recognizes our flaws, our struggles, but it also emphasizes our incredible potential for good. It's not a simplistic view at all.
You're absolutely right. It's a nuanced and layered understanding of human nature. And it's important to remember that the Quran, it's not meant to be taken literally in every instance. Like it uses metaphors, allegories, and stories to convey, really profound spiritual truths.
So there's like a poetic element to it where you kind of have to look beyond like the surface to grasp the deeper meaning.
Exactly. The Quran invites reflection and contemplation. It's a text that encourages us to engage with it, on multiple levels and connect its teachings to our own lives.
This is a lot to take in, but I'm really appreciating like this new perspectives on the Quran. Before we started this deep dive, I kind of had this image of it being, just this rigid set of rules and punishments. But what I'm hearing is much more nuanced, hopeful, even inspiring.
That's a common misconception, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you're right. The Quran's message is fundamentally one of hope and guidance. It emphasizes the incredible potential that lies within each of us.
It's like it's acknowledging that we're not perfect, but we have the capacity to grow, to learn, and to strive for something greater.
Precisely. The Quran emphasizes the importance of, seeking knowledge, reflecting on our actions, and continually striving to improve ourselves. It's about embracing that journey of growth, not just focusing on the destination.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
We've covered so much: creation, free will, accountability, the meaning of life.
Mm.
And yet I feel like we've only like scratched the surface.
We have, and that's the beauty of the Quran. It's a text that continues to reveal new layers of meaning with each reading and reflection.
Okay. Before we wrap up, I have to ask,
Mhm.
what's like one key takeaway you hope our listeners, walk away with today?
Yeah, I know. For me, it's been like eye-opening to see how the Quran's perspective on humanity is so relevant. Even for someone who's just starting to learn about it.
It's a timeless message, really.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one key takeaway, I'd say it's this. The Quran offers a hopeful and empowering vision of like human potential.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't simply defined by our circumstances or our past mistakes.
Right.
We have this capacity like for immense growth and compassion and positive change.
Yeah. That's powerful. Like, it's this reminder that we're always evolving, like always capable of becoming better versions of ourselves.
Exactly. And it emphasizes that, this journey of growth isn't one that we, undertake alone.
We have a creator who guides us and supports us and offers us countless opportunities for transformation.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's both a challenge and an encouragement, like, urging us to strive for our best while acknowledging that we have, help along the way.
It speaks to that, universal human desire for meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
We all want to feel like our lives, like, matter, that our actions have significance. And the Quran, it provides a framework for understanding our place in the world and living a life that's, both fulfilling and impactful.
This has been an absolutely incredible deep dive.
It
Thank
has.
you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us.
It was my pleasure. Always a joy to, explore the Quran's wisdom and share its timeless message.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has, sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more about, the Quran's perspective on humanity.
It really
It's
is.
a journey of discovery that's, well worth taking.
Mm.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep seeking knowledge.